What should you do if you're inheriting a convoluted strategy that was set long before you started? Let's start there, and then we can start going into
Sure. Yeah, very common. It's happened to me in various roles before. I think there's kind of a couple steps you want to do. One is you need to just unpack it for yourself and make sure, is this convoluted because I just don't understand it because I'm new to the company or new to the way that people communicate. And so I would recommend, going to your direct manager and just kind of sit down with them and have her or him walk you through, what does this strategy mean to you and how are we building our roadmap around it, right? Hopefully you're not coming in and you're the only person in product at this stage of a company and it's just up for you to solve. If you are, then you're kind of going to the CEO or whoever may have set the strategy above you. So I think that's the first step. One is you really got to unpack it to understand it, because it could just be the simple confusion of do they really set a vision, or are they using a vision as a strategy, or is this a clear strategy? And some of that might be locked internally. Maybe everyone has this inherent understanding of what these words mean because we all work as a company before. So when the CEO says X, I really understand he's meaning Y, but the strategy still says X. Well, the new person coming in might not understand that yet. The other then, in terms of then just constantly communicating that, once you have an understanding of it, how can you do a better job communicating to the rest of the organization, is really start to separate then, if it is that vision and strategy problem or mission and vision, is constantly remind people of that, right? This is our vision. Here's how we're going to get there, our strategy, right? And when you are making decisions, when you are presenting roadmap, whether that's up the chain to executives, or if you're talking about it with customers, or if you're talking about it to engineering teams and the rest of your product team, is justify your decisions. And especially with the team, maybe not as much with customers, don't be afraid to very clearly indicate, and we are doing X because our strategy, is leading us in that direction, right? So constantly reinforcing that these decisions are being made based on the strategy helps kind of just everyone understand what a strategy really means and why you may be making the decisions that you are.
I think you may have answered that question. I'm going to toss to Annie, but Annie, go ahead. Sorry, you chime in.
Yeah, no, I was gonna add to that a little bit. I think there's a difference between understanding a strategy and agreeing with it. And I think if it feels like a convoluted strategy, the first thing you need to understand is why it exists. And it can exist just because the CEO said so. But figuring out the why then gives you a foundation from which to build the data to contradict or to grow or expand it. And I'll give the example. I worked in a telecom where we were doing landline service, just to date myself. And the strategy was to sell more landlines to an audience, right? At a cheaper price, with more minutes, whatever it was. But as we unpacked that strategy and understood that there was government assistance, that there was a market that was underserved, that was a foundation, knowing what I know now, where I would have come back and said, listen, there's now market assistance for mobile. There's now this access for this other. I understand this is why your strategy exists. But using that same logic, we can actually potentially grow more as a company in this other direction.